basically. There'll be dormitories that'll house the men and the women. There'll be segregation units and cell houses that will be there for disciplinary processes and those types of things. So that visual really isn't reflective of what the actual site would look like.
Well, sure. Well, you know what I would say, then I would recommend that you guys actually add that visualization, because I think when people look at this, it kind of looks like a giant warehouse, and it's nondescript, but if it was something where it was a little bit more, I think that would at least give a better idea, because I think it, I might give the wrong impression.
If I could just answer that. We had no intention of being here to expose our plan for responding to the RFP. We're not anywhere close to developing the plan. We have no real finalization of the drawings yet. So this is kind of just us as a company wanting to come into a neighboring community that would have concerns to answer any questions, because this is a lot of information. If you're not used to the industry or not used to prison operations, either public or private, I've been in the business 30 years, so Dick and I, and Dick, you know, is a person that is well known, I think, politically and as a resident of Manchester that cares about the communities, and said, hey, let's, you know, together, let's go up and talk to Hooksett and let's just answer any questions. But when we get to that point, it'll all be public information and we'll give you exactly what we're trying to accomplish, but we're just not there yet.
One more, sure. It will also be interesting would be, since you are part of a corporation, is if you had a packet which kind of maybe outlined, because I think some of the things that people also want to know is like, well, if you concentrate that many in, what kind of services are there for, you know, getting these training, you know, that kind of stuff for the
Absolutely.
and such. So.
We'd have all that package ready for your information.
That's all I have.
Jim has one more question for you, gentlemen.
Land directly abut Hooksett property, I mean Hooksett itself?
No, Hooksett property, Mike, you want to put that other map back? Hooksett property, would you show where Hackett Hill is? Okay, up there, way up in the corner, hold on.
Well, the line runs up through the middle of Hackett Hills, down.
Your property is here, we have a buffer on this side of Hackett Hill, your property is all right here. This is Hackett Hill, this is Route 38, this is the bridge, and your property is right here. You start right here.
Jim, it's pretty on the big colored picture. It's off to the right.
Yeah.
It's off picture.
Yeah, Manchester, the city of Manchester owns both sides of Hackett Hill, and you take over approximately with less than a quarter of a mile up west on Hackett Hill.
Okay.
I think we have I think Susan has, I mean, not Susan, excuse me, Nancy has a question for you.
It's actually a question for our town administrator, because recently, in the last town council meeting, it was mentioned for the preamble.
Preambulation.
Yes, that committee needs to meet, because Harold Murray has a question on our border in that area. I hope it's not that area, but if he still has that question, we probably ought to get that knocked out before too many more companies come to see us to build in that area. So if we could just ask Harold to get, I don't know how to get that started. I'm sorry, take more of your time.
So we think Hooksett actually goes halfway into your property, but no, I'm just teasing.
Annexation is required?
And if I may, I didn't know anything about it, and the paper quoted mostly me, and I encouraged the correspondent to ask other people. So I was trying to convey that the more information, the more details, more communication between all the groups would be beneficial. And as I said, I was very pleased to hear that you wanted to appear before the council. So I didn't know I had much power over that, but that's very nice to have you come in, because we do appreciate it, because Manchester and Hooksett certainly want to be good neighbors, and so we appreciate that.
Yes, the last comment I want to make is that, and we are going to have neighborhood meetings, so I will put Evelyn on the email list, and you will be notified of all of the neighborhood meetings that are going to show exactly what the layout is going to be. And the other thing we're going to do
is we're going to bring letters of commendation from all of the other cities that have 20 prisons. So you will see what some of the other prisons have, other communities have to say about his prisons. When you have 20 prisons, this is not new for Mr. Murphy and his company. And from what he has told me in the last couple of weeks, that in the communities that he's in, is that they like having him there. And one of the things he did say, he doesn't like to toot his own horn, but I mean, most of his wardens and senior staff are business people. I mean, they're a member of the chambers, they're members of the Rotary clubs, they're on the school board, they run for office, they're not state employees. This is a business, and it's just because it has the word corrections in it. I mean, that's a connotation, unfortunately, but what we have been telling the city of Manchester and all of the aldermen is that this is a $100 million business enterprise that they want to come into the community with. And when I say Greater Manchester, I mean, it's a $50 to $75 million economic engine that's coming in here. So I think it's in one respect, it's very exciting. So I just wanted to mention that. But we are going to have several public hearings before this is formulated. So thank you.
And we thank you very much, and we appreciate you coming in to talk to us. And I think Dr. Schenkel has one thing for you.
Well, I don't really have a question. I guess I'd just like to make a comment, so we don't, at least so that I and maybe other people want to get calls from reporters. I really don't want to. My position on this at this time is I think that in general, anytime somebody hears this, your first reaction is sort of a not in my backyard thing, and I think that's probably the reaction I had when I first heard it. And I think at this point, what, as people that you contact or as reporters contact in the past, I think that we're still at the point where we don't really have enough information to be positive or negative at this point about the specifics of what you're doing. The general concept, not as exciting as if you were an aircraft builder, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
So, I mean, there are other things that we'd probably rather you sitting there talking about, but I think that what you found, and I think what you always find, Hooks, it is that people are reasonable and just want information, and we appreciate the fact that you're here, and we'd like you to continue to provide information as you get it.
We will.
Thank you very much. Okay. We have a 15-minute break, but we can carry on if you'd like.